If you've played Rematch even once, you've probably realized that some people just don't pass the ball. It should be simple, but they just don't do it. And honestly, I would even say that it's so important that passing the ball should be an actual rule in the game. So after playing like 50 hours of this game, I made a list of rules you should not break in Rematch. Things you should do and not do to be a good player and teammate. Now, I have to start with this because I see so many players randomly spamming rainbows. I know the rainbow flag looks cool, but if you're spamming it in every single scenario, you're going to lose possession more often than not. Rainbow flags are useful, but only in specific scenarios. If someone is sprinting toward you and you time it right, that's a solid moment to use it. But if they're just in front of you, holding their defense stance and not advancing, don't use it. Also, even if the opponent is trying to tackle you, if you're surrounded by your other opponents, avoid using it. You might jump over the first player, but you're gonna lose the ball right after. It's also important to say that the higher you climb, the more your opponents will anticipate it. So don't build the habit of spamming it against new players, even if it seems to work at first. The next rule not to break in Rematch is to avoid using your boost and stamina in every second you have it. Think of your stamina like you're playing Dark Souls. You don't want to burn through it without getting something in return. You need to manage it so it's available when it matters. Same thing for Rematch, the boost is extremely important too. It gives you a huge advantage in counterattacks. It also allows for power shots like the blade shot, and it gives you priority on the ball when you tackle an opponent holding it. Instead of spamming it to just run toward the ball randomly, keep it whenever it's not necessary. Even if you're using stamina correctly and not spamming rainbows, you gotta follow this next rule, otherwise you're gonna lose most of your games anyway. And that is to know your role and play your position. If you spawn as a defender after a goal, play as a defender, please. If you spawn as the goalkeeper, play as a goalkeeper. Don't abandon your position to just take the ball and run towards the opponents. I'm sorry to tell you this, guys, but Rematch is a team game and you need someone to defend, someone to be the goalkeeper, and someone to score. You can't do everything simultaneously. You know what's the best thing ever? When someone wants to play the entirety of the game as a goalie, and that's because you know you can trust him to play that key position. I'm not saying that you should play the entirety of the match as a defender, but someone needs to play each position in order to have a balanced game. And this actually leads us perfectly into the next rule, which I don't hear many people talk about. How do you avoid leaving gaps in the defense, you might ask? You might have your camera pointed somewhere else and not be aware that no one is defending. The answer is actually simple. Check the minimap regularly. Everyone likes to compare Rocket League and Rematch, but the games are very different than this. Rematch gives you a minimap showing you where everyone is and where the ball is going. This is insanely useful, and I feel like most players just neglect the minimap almost completely. If you're not looking at the minimap, you're basically playing blind. You get tackled from behind, miss open teammates, and whiff goals because you didn't see the ball coming. Instead, you should glance at the minimap constantly. Use it to track defenders behind you, prep for incoming passes, and position yourself to improve your macro game. Moving on to the fifth rule, which is to use world passes carefully. I know they're cool and useful in some scenarios, but I feel like whenever someone learns about the world pass, they start spamming it in every single scenario and end up losing the ball. It's very similar to spamming rainbows as we talked about before. Sometimes you don't need a world pass. Often a simple direct pass is faster and more reliable. World passes are useful when you're stuck in a sideline and don't have another passing option. Otherwise, simple pass is just faster. Now, this one might be slightly controversial. Some of you might disagree, but I think you should almost never contrast a shot if the goalkeeper is ready to jump for it. This probably has happened to you before. You're trying to defend, the opponent is about to shoot, you jump in front of him and you deflect the ball to give them a free goal. Instead, if you were to just let the striker shoot, the goalie would have easily saved it. Of course, don't let strikers take uncontested shots, but if you can't challenge them early, don't interfere when they're already about to shoot. Your job is to stop the play before they reach the box, and that leads directly into the next rule. You should always use your defense stance when an opponent is trying to pass the ball. Avoid using tackle and interception and just press LT holding your stand. Your character is gonna automatically intercept the ball. This is much easier than just betting on a full-on intercept, because if you miss, that means you've been dribbled by your opponent. Instead, the regular defense stance makes it harder to surpass you. As long as your hitbox is kind of in the way, your character will automatically block the ball for you. But if you didn't enter defense stance when they kick it, the ball might just pass by you. This next rule is for goalkeepers, and that is to not dive early. This is especially important for whoever is newer to the game because they tend to panic and just jump before the striker takes the shot. The truth is that Rematch is very forgiving in this. Most of the time you can just wait for the shot and jump in that direction. Your character is gonna lock onto the ball and take it, but sometimes your opponent gets really close to you and you end up sliding his way and getting juked. That sucks, I know. But here's a trick to juke them instead. If he is slowly getting close to you, he probably wants to do a rainbow or a slow lob shot over you, and he's gonna do it whenever you walk towards him. So just bait him. Take a couple of steps towards the striker and he's gonna go for the rainbow. Then you can just jump in place or walk back and take the ball. It's so easy and you'll never be humiliated again. The 9th rule again is for when you're the goalie. This one is actually really important. Stop going for a full kick pass towards the attacker. I lost count of how many times my team lost the ball like this. I'm not saying you should never use it, but only when you can clearly line up a pass that your forwards will be able to take and contest it. In most cases, you might as well just pass it to a close teammate and start the action from there. Losing the ball like that after you just saved it is just a complete waste. The long shot is still gonna be important in counterattacks, but use the short pass more often. This next rule might sound weird, but some players should just avoid playing ranked at first. You can go for it, but if you want to have the best chance at climbing quickly without getting stuck in silver, you just need to become familiar with all the possible buttons, as well as the 5 main aspects of the game. And those are goalkeeping, defending, passing, dribbling, and scoring. To practice dribbling and scoring, you should just use the practice field or 3v3s where you're most likely to touch the ball more. Instead, to practice defending, goalkeeping, and passing, you can just play 5v5s. It's actually super easy to practice goalkeeping because no one wants to play it anyway. Now, this final rule is so simple, but probably the most important one in the whole video. You need to pass the ball. Stop hogging the ball and losing it constantly trying to dribble everyone in ranked to go for that TikTok highlight. Please pass the ball to the player that is open. Every teammate will love you and you'll make the game much more enjoyable. The only time you can hog the ball is if you're trying to practice dribbling in 3v3s. That's it. Remember, this game is a team game. You have to pay attention to your teammates' movement and make sure you're setting them up for success. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel for more. And I'm also trying to build a positive Rematch community. So if you're looking for somewhere to ask questions and improve with other people, make sure to join. See ya.